What up, everybody? How we all doing this Saturday night? For those that are new, my name's Proto Man. This is the mug that you get to see at least once a week, and then you hear the voice the rest of the week. Welcome to the Transformers Slag podcast Saturday night live stream main event. We're going to talk Transformers tonight. We're going to cover some news. We're going to talk about some stuff we got in the PO Box this week. And then we're going to take some super chats from the people of the Transformer world. How we all doing? See, already a bunch of the YouTube members and the patrons are in today. Nice to see everybody. So first we'll get into some news. Not a lot to cover. We're pretty much going into a double whammy of big conventions. Now that the convention scene is kind of coming back together. An SDCC and a Los Angeles Comic-Con back-to-back at the end of November and stuff. So we got some little stuff here and there to talk about. Not much. But the big news, I'm going to start with the big news first, is that of Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom, its latest wave not only being shown to us and acknowledged officially by Hasbro, but also, despite that Hasbro said, oh, there's going to be no pre-orders put up on Hasbro Pulse or anything, the pre-orders have gone up everywhere else. I'm not specifically sponsored by any of these individuals, so I'm not going to say their names. But there is oh so plenty different websites one could go to, about a dozen, no joke, that you could pre-order all the individuals on the screen and get them into your lovely collection, hopefully by the end of next week. So, for those who have not been paying attention this week, of course, Hasbro acknowledged all the existence of these guys. We knew about them for a while. We saw the images online. We saw the box art. This is the first time we've seen official box art, official stock images, the whole 9 yards. And this pretty much confirms that Kingdom has I guess we could call it a Wave 5 for their Deluxes and their Voyagers. And assuming that that Hot Rod listing that we talked about last week is also credible, which I would believe, a Wave 4 for their core class. So the hype is on for Voyager Blaster, Pipes, and Slammer, and the case assortment for when these will show up in retail, which I would not be surprised if by next week for Black Friday, some of these might leak out early. Although Hasbro did say that these are all supposed to come out the first of next year, so January 1st of 2022. But I would not be surprised if these break street dates and show up early in some Walmarts and everything like that. So keep your eye out if you have not pre-ordered online. They are out there. Looks pretty good. Supposedly the case assortment for the Deluxes have been confirmed to be 2 of each of the Pipes and the Slammer. And then the fillers are going to be that of Shadow Panther and Waspinator. So if you did not get those from Wave 4, you will get another opportunity to get these for Wave 5. Now I want to stress one thing here from a headache and speculative market standpoint with these. And this is very important, guys. While Blaster will be available in Transformers Legacy in Wave 1 of the Voyager class, Slammer and Pipes will not. And this is a late wave, last wave kind of thing. Chances are these are going to be the 2 most difficult Deluxes to pick up in the secondary market 6 to 8 months from now. Look how it's been in the past with Earthrise, with Siege, with Power of the Primes, and I could go on and on. Late wave stuff is always very difficult to get because a lot of stores just don't pick them up. Look, we're going into the holiday season and stores are going to probably be so absolutely swamped with all the other product that they got ready going into the holiday season that by January 1st, when this stuff is supposed to officially ship to Walmart and Target and so on, they might not even bother ordering cases because they might still have tons of Cyberverse and who knows what else left over. So keep that in mind, guys. If you are really excited about these, but you don't want to order them online, heed with caution. There might be a difficulty to pick these up in retail. I've always heard the stories, my Walmart sucks, it doesn't have anything, it never orders anything. Well, if that's the case, it's going to be, sped up even more by the fact that this is a Wave 5. So keep that in mind. Just a little piece of advice, and that is that. Also, I want to point out that judging by the stock images that were provided by all the pre-order websites, the trading cards included are a grab bag of all the other waves. So no new peel to reveal trading cards. All 16 have been revealed. So it's just one of the old past ones. So don't expect anything new of that. Just want to cover that too. Either way, that's that. Just wanted to bring that up, guys. Hope you're excited about these items, especially Blaster. Blaster looks hype, but we'll get another chance to see him again when Legacy rolls around and how that packaging is done. Next up, let's go into some licensing stuff. Bathing Ape, which is a company that has done a lot of exclusives in the past with Transformers, mostly Masterpiece exclusives and Generation 1 reissues. They have this thing where they love taking the Optimus Prime mold and putting in Bathing Ape colors, which are usually kind of a camo deco. You could barely see it on this black repaint here. But Bathing Ape has had a collaboration for quite a couple years now, about 6 years, with that of Bear Brick, which is a Medicom product. And they've been making a bunch of transforming Bear Brick stuff. Let me just show you some of the past ones. They've been around since, I believe, 2015. They've been doing this idea, doing Generation 1 ones, doing movie ones, doing Nemesis Prime / Scourge color schemes. And the one in the top right there is Bathing Ape's true color scheme, the camo green, almost, I guess the, what's it called there? The Rolling Thunder from G.I. Joe kind of also has that kind of color scheme. There was supposed to be a Rolling Thunder Optimus Prime. Kind of reminds me of that. But so Bathing Ape, that, they like doing their color schemes. And so the latest one is going to be their Bathing Ape Black with the camo on the arms. It's barely noticeable here, but it's very different from the Nemesis Prime version, which has the purple Decepticon logo on it and the teal. This one's just the Bathing Ape camo in black on the Optimus Prime. These are transformable. If you're familiar with Bear Brick, and I'm going to show an example here. So this was the Pepsi promotion that they had back in 2007 when the Michael Bay movie came out, the very first one. And it was actually, I could show you how it worked. So this was like, let's say your Pepsi bottle just kind of went like this on your Pepsi bottle. And you kind of got one of 4 different characters, Barricade, Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, and Megatron. These are how big they normally are. Now, these transformable ones are 200% larger, so they're going to be probably about like this much bigger. And they transform. The normal Bear Brick ones that were done back in the day didn't transform. They were just kind of keychains. And I just had this one. I got it as a movie promotion thing when I got the Japanese movie, the Japanese version of the 2007 movie on Blu-ray back in the day. It was a little promo thing. So that's just to give you a little bit of idea of those. But I mean, hey, I just want to put it out there for some people that might be interested. It's kind of a weird item, but it is what it is. Now let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con. Let's talk about Los Angeles Comic-Con back to back, and the first ever exclusive for both of those shows in relation to Transformers has been revealed, and it is that of the Symbiote Studios Unicron. Anyone who's been a regular in the stream is very well aware of this. We've been teasing it for weeks on end. You guys got the exclusive many months earlier. Again, this is to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Transformers the movie, the 86 movie in theaters. And, it is what it is. It's going to be a absolutely massive plush, a pillow plush. It's going to be a limited run, $39.99, and will be available at first at San Diego Comic-Con, November 26th to the 28th, 2021, at the San Diego Convention Center. If you head on down, go to booth 2235 and pick up your Unicron. There will be other stuff there. I'll cover that in a second. And same thing, if you can't make it to SDCC, Los Angeles Comic-Con, LA Comic-Con, December 3rd to the 5th, 2021. It'll be at the LA Convention Center. A lot of original names going on here. Booth will be 1011. Be sure to check that out, and you can pick them all up and all the cool swag that will be available. What's up, Larry? And so check out all that stuff. Now, keep in mind, Symbiote Studios will also have some other stuff, and here's some debuts for some people. So they will have 2 brand new t-shirts that will be debuting that weekend. These will be available online, but if you are at San Diego or LA Comic-Con that weekend, you will be able to pick up these shirts in person. A Optimus Prime with Cat Bravo. I'm wearing Cat Bravo over here with the shark. But also, if you want, this one I really like, the Me Grimlock Want to Munch Mental t-shirt based off of the best-selling Plush Grimlock là-bas over there, en français, in French. Looking really good. And of course, other stuff will be debuting that weekend, like the Power Ranger plushes, the My Little Pony plushes. All the Hasbro related brands will have a lot of stuff there. Be sure to check that out and more. Now, again, if you cannot get the Unicron plush at either of these, if they are still available in stock, who knows how crazy it'll be, they will be available on symbiotestudios.com. Again, symbiotestudios.com. Check the link below if you need to figure everything out and pick up some cool merch. We'll cover that again afterwards. But, you know, if you want it, hope for the best. Otherwise, it's an SDCC thing. Again, 35th anniversary of the 86 movie. Get a giant pillow to chill out with you on the couch. Get some good lumbar support. He's a big guy. Or he could just hug you around with his big horns. He's a big sucker. Looks real good. Again, symbiotestudios.com if there's any left over. Hope for the best. Hope for the best. We got a super chat here from Joseph, and Joseph wants to know, that hoodie you are wearing is awesome. What is a Michael Bay, and how do we get rid of it? First up, the hoodie actually, let me have to close everything here. The hoodie is actually a Pac-Man hoodie. This thing's amazing, by the way. So it has Pac-Man in Japanese, it has Pac-Man on the arm, and get a load of the back there. Look at that. Classic Namco. I love this. Love this hoodie. I'm actually wearing a hoodie today because this is probably the first week of absolutely cold weather here in Canada. So you might see a lot more hoodies and sweaters the next couple of streams from me because it's not looking good. The snow is coming. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. But yeah, Symbiote Studios, check them out. Again, if you're at SDCC, check out the booth. Booth 2235 for SDCC and booth 1011 for LA Comic-Con. And we'll have more announcements after these 2 shows. Possibly, I want to say mid-December, we'll start to be able to see the Wave 4 plushes. We might put out some teasers of the Wave 4 plush in the near future of the ongoing Transformer plush line from Symbiote Studios. So check that out for sure. Let's jump into some other stuff that happened today. Today was the worldwide debut on YouTube of Part 2 of the Season 4 Transformers Cyberverse series, technically the series finale. So, it's over. If you have not seen it, it is available on YouTube right now. It was available, I think it was a week and a half ago in Canada, where a lot of us got to see it beforehand, and we kind of streamed it on our Discord, on the Transformer Slag Podcast Discord, if you wanted to catch it a little early. But it is over. Check it out. I don't want to go too deep into it, just in case people have not watched Cyberverse yet. I like to respect people's abilities to kind of watch the series on their own without preconceived notions and everything. But the only thing I do want to say, now that kind of Cyberverse is done, is, and I'm just going to pull up this image. It was on my Twitter too, but I want to talk about Cyberverse and the way it handled itself as a toy line. Now, Transformers has been, let's be real, a show to sell toys. That's always what it's been. That's what it's been for years. It is a commercial to sell toys. Is there a great story being told? Of course. Is there amazing characters and fun and comedy and everything? Yes. But at the end of the day, it was made to sell toys. And this was the first time ever that I felt that they were almost really not trying to sell toys. The best example, what I'm showing you on the screen right here, for 4 years in a row, we were given a lot of the same product over and over in new packaging because Hasbro really wasn't trying very hard with the Cyberverse line to give a lot of product. Now we know, at least we know now with hindsight, that Cyberverse was actually a line that was kind of conceived for the Chinese market, including how toy production was being done, the turnover. As the old saying goes, was the orange, was the squeeze worth the juice, so to speak, for the orange. Was the effort worth it ultimately in the end? So that's why we didn't get a lot of deluxe Cyberverse toys that were of that level that we would enjoy. There was a lot of one steps and these weird gimmicky ones made out of, MABS and SABS plastic and everything like that. And it's a shame, but it is what it is. And hopefully one day, maybe 5 years from now, we might get, Cyberverse toys that are based on those characters in a better light. Because here's another one that I post on Twitter. I feel like a lot of the Cyberverse toys, it feels like how I felt back in the day in the 90s when it came to Transformer collecting, where when you had Transformer toys back in the 90s and the 80s, a lot of times the toys were an interpretation of how they looked on the show. The Fleero Deary design of the G1 cartoon, or that of the, I guess we'll call it the animation models of Mainframe Entertainment. Now, obviously some toys were better than others at matching that, but in a general whole, a lot of times, sometimes the toys didn't really match their animation counterparts. And I feel that, we got past that. Or, since, the Michael Bay era and classics and everything like that, we've been able to really match the character model to what is on the screen. But Cyberverse, because of the way that they handled their budget, the parts, the pieces, the engineering, we kind of ended up in a world where toys are kind of back to that interpretation, if you will. So it's a shame. It's a shame. I hope in the future we get something better. I really do. I really, really do. Michael Koo says Cyberverse did not sell toys. Best one, I think, was Cyberverse Deluxe Cheetor. Yeah, that's a fantastic one. Well, all the Deluxes, except for, I don't know, I wasn't a fan of the Hot Rod, which is, should be surprising for some people because the budget on that wave, they really didn't put it into the Hot Rod figure and he didn't get enough paint or plastic quality. And I think that the Thunder Howl is not even the best version of that character, and it's the Deluxe. So I think like it's the Ultra Class version is way better if you want something that's more show accurate, even though it's kind of a little out of scale with people. It's a little big. But at the end of the day, I liked the series. I liked it. I thought the story was very good. I liked the characters. My biggest complaint always was just the runtime. I thought the runtime could have been longer. When you really add up everything we had, we maybe have a solid good one season in terms of content, because they were all 10-minute episodes. The Cyberverse RC is fantastic, by the way. That made my top Transformers of 2020 last year. Super high quality. But she was a wave all in her own, so all the budget was on her. She was a lucky case in the way that she was distributed. But, again, it was a great series. I liked it. It's just I wish it kind of had better toys. And I feel that if Cyberverse would have came out like around the time, like let's say when Transformers Animated came out in 2009, 2010, and got the animated treatment where everything was deluxes, in scale, high quality figures, I think we would have had an amazing line. Absolutely amazing line. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, thank you, Cyberverse. Pretty cool series. And hopefully we get some more information in the future on what's happening with fiction with the Transformer world, because we now know our Rise of the Beast movie is going to be delayed until 2023 of summer. We have no word yet on our Bots TV series. We have no word on that other TV series that Nickelodeon was going to have that I think was going to be shared with Netflix. All this information is up in the air. Hopefully we'll learn something. Maybe we'll get some kind of a marketing meeting or whatever. What's up, Damon? Maybe we'll get a marketing meeting or whatever, or something. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some information in the near future to find out what our next piece of fiction is with Transformers, because we don't know what's happening with Netflix with a new Legacy TV series or something after the War for Cybertron stuff. You know, the movie's delayed. All we got is comics, and the comics are not bad, but let's be real, comics don't move toys like cartoons and movies do. It's just the way it is. Marvel's been around for a very long time, but it took a couple of movies to get people to really start paying attention, and cartoons in the 90s, and it's going to be no different here. So just kind of a fact of life. We have a gold super chat from Mikey. The evolution of Transformer toys has become better and better for most, say Studio Series 86. I agree with that. What do you believe can be worked on or even more in the future releases? Well, I think they're going to revisit a lot of characters that they've done already quite a few times with, we'll use the term classics, universe, generations, that whole bubble there. They're going to revisit them because I feel like Masterpiece kind of is like this open budget where they're able to test ideas and everything to perfect characters. And then when they figure it out with that, then they try to figure to parse it down into the retail space. And when it's perfected in the retail space, that's it. You know, like the best example being Dinobot from Kingdom, you know, compared to, say, his Masterpiece one, you really see there was a lot of engineering ideas shared between the two, but the Masterpiece came before. So I think that what's going to happen in the future is we're still going to get, as long as the budget permits it with retail, we're going to get a lot more of those mini masterpieces. And something like Studio Series 86 will be a good platform for that. Because unlike a lot of, like, let's say Legacy or something, it has just a little more budget, it seems, Studio Series. Just a little more budget to have fun. And not to mention, if you know, I'm glad that Hot Rod was overpriced in Studio Series 86. By putting in that Voyager price point, he was able to have, like, the opening and closing hands, the extra accessories, which I always keep in a little baggie nearby, you know. Where if he would have been a deluxe class, it would have been the same figure, but maybe would have had closed fists, maybe didn't have all the accessories, maybe wouldn't have all the paint, maybe not even the visor gimmick. Who knows? But we'll see what happens in the future, like I always say. We'll see. Michael Koo says, BotBots Series 6 hasn't even shown up in retail. BotBots isn't... You know what? Look, I love BotBots. I love its creativity. I love its ideas. Like I said, guys, if anyone finds the Dukes of BotBots, which is that poop transformer, let me know, because I want to buy one desperately, because that's crazy that we're getting a poop transformer. But none of this has showed up. It's so weird the way that series was handled, how it's already up to like wave 6, no fiction yet, no comic book, no nothing. I would have gone out guns a-blazing if I was doing the marketing on this. I would have handled it differently in general, personally. I think I would have taken a name character to be the face of that brand with a whole bunch of new people, like Botanica would have been the best example. But that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. When I'm working on the inside more, maybe things will change. But it is what it is. But anyways, so that's it more or less for the news. Again, I just want to cover, with Aaron Archer, we just finished episode 3 of, the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. We're talking about Jurassic Park and Aliens. That was our Halloween episode that we did. We just finished our very first Transformer-related episode for the Toy Armada. It's in the editing stages. It's going to be a 3-part series of a certain brand. I don't want to specify which one, but we really get deep into the nitty-gritty of it with a lot of cool behind-the-scenes stuff and photos. Stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, you have 3 episodes on the channel right now, on the Toy Armada channel with Aaron Archer, to check out if you like. A lot of cool stuff there. Nice long-form podcasts. A lot to learn about just how the business was done. The one thing I like the most about this episode specifically, even if you're not a fan of these 2 brands, is we dive into quickly the Hasbro Signature Series, which was an idea from Hasbro at a time when the idea was, oh man, like, adults collect toys too. And the idea of making that transition to adult collectibles on top of just toys made for kids. And if adults buy it, hey, that's a bonus. So good episode to listen to, even if you're not a fan of the brand. If you are a fan of these brands, really good episode to listen to. You get to listen to my stupid voice and Aaron who is awesome, letting you know how the toy world worked from the inside out back in the 90s, from the Kenner and Hasbro days. So be sure to check that out too. We got a super chat from Collector Prime. Good evening. What is next for the Transformer cartoons? My son and I love watching together. We even wrapped up Headmasters currently. Well, unfortunately, Collector Prime right now, because of, number one, what was going on in the world with the Big V and everything getting pushed back even now with the movies, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a gap until we get to the next chapter, if you will. Dare I say 3 to 6 months. We don't have any confirmation, but that's really how it's looking in a lot of ways. But I always say the beautiful thing about Transformers is, and this is no joke, there is about 800 episodes of Transformer content to enjoy that has ever come out. G1, season 1 to 4 of that. Japanese OVAs of Scramble City and Scramble City 2, the toy promo. 86 movie. Headmasters, Master Force, Victory Zone. Obviously, they're subtitled. If you could find fan dubs online for your son if he doesn't want to read subtitles in Japanese. Or you could listen to the terrible dub by Star TV that's out there. Then, of course, you have, G2 if you want to rewatch with the cybernetic space cube. Have it a little different, the retelling of that story. You could have Beast Wars Season 1 to 3 and that gloriousness. Or again, going to subtitles, Beast Wars 2nd and Beast Wars Neo. Right there is another huge chunk of almost over 100 episodes, along with the Beast Wars 2nd movie, which is a 2-hour Transformer movie that was really good. Tons of content there. Beast Machines. Going into Car Robots, Robots in Disguise. Then you could go into Armada, aka Micron, if you want a subtitle version. Energon, Superlink, the subtitle version. Cybertron, Galaxy Force. Then you have all the side stuff that was going on. Like you had Transformers Robot Masters, which had these little brief segments too that were subtitled in Japanese with all kinds of cool stuff. Transformers has so much content just in animation and I guess we'll call it screen storytelling that'll keep you busy alone, let alone the mangas, the comic books, the books, There's a reason why this could be an entire lifestyle in itself. So while there isn't anything planned for now in the immediate future, there's a lot that you could look back on. There's a lot that you could revisit, look back on, and enjoy. If you guys haven't watched Beast Wars yet, heavily suggest you do. You'd be missing out, my friend. So definitely check that out. And I hope that kind of steers you in the right direction. Hope it does. And I hope you and your son have a good time. Sheriff Latif with the super chat. Proto, gotta ask, man, how does one value vintage Diaclone toys, especially rare ones like the Marlboro's Wheeljack? You a G, Proto. Thank you. The thing with some of that, like, I like to call it more upper crust Transformer merchandise, which is like, pre-Transformer stuff like Diaclone and Microman. When you're talking like Lucky Draw stuff, it's really hard to value it because, usually I tell people the market always changes and you have to see what the market is in that moment. Like a figure 1 week could be $15 and then something comes around and it goes down. I literally just did a segment this morning talking about, what creates the value of figures and rarity and stuff like that. But when it comes to those guys, the unfortunate thing is we don't have what's called price memory. Because like probably the last time we saw a Marlboro Wheeljack sold on eBay was probably 3 years ago. Or if anything, at least minimum 6 months ago. And if you go looking for that information, it's probably not there anymore. So it's something that you got to constantly look for one to go live. Give an example. One of the rarest Transformers in my collection, like in terms of value, is I have the Canadian version of Pepsi Optimus Prime mint in box. And it's super rare, very tough to get. And the only way that I kind of know its value is every so often eBay will tell me, hey, one got listed online. Like a loose one or one that's complete at least. And I like to see, I'm not bidding, I just want to see how it ends so I can get a general idea of what it's worth. But even then, when was that last time that one was live? 3 years ago? The value is very hard to measure. It's something that you just got to look at your gut be aware of what the market is for that and what is available at the time, and then you just got to kind of make that call. You know, it's the thing where you have to say how many of those are out there. And when I mean those, I mean specifically yours, because there's a very big difference between a loose, incomplete, you know, yellow, damaged Marlboro's Wheeljack and a 100% complete one, or 100% complete one with the box and instructions and accessories. So whatever your state of it is, the value really is based on its state and the population numbers that exist of that version. And what population numbers are is, you know, how many loose, complete, Skywarp, you know, Kingdom versions of this exist. Thousands of them. But in 10 years from now, how many of these will exist that are mint sealed in the box that was never opened? Considerably less. Those are population reports, because people open stuff up, they damage them, they mess with them, and that affects the population report of something. It gets really more into the collector, speculator, finance part of transforming collecting, but that's a whole different, like, you know, rabbit hole to get down and explain that I'll gladly do in a video in the near future. I just did one recently, just this morning. It was a Patreon listener question. If you haven't listened to it after this segment today, definitely check it out, because I kind of cover some of the 4 key points of value with stuff. But it still won't help you too much, because what you're talking about is that upper crust, that small, like 10% of Transformer collecting that really is like holy grails for people in a lot of way. But again, hope that kind of helps. Thanks for the listener question, bud. Jonathan Princeton. I apologize if I said it wrong. Princeton. What is your dream Studio Series 86 figure? Perhaps a re-release of Earthrise Optimus Prime with more accessories, like we're getting with the Coronation Starscream. Well, my what would have been my dream Studio Series 86 figure actually happened ultimately in the end, which is Hot Rod. You know, the easy answer would just say do a better Rodimus Prime. Well, see, if it's Studio Series 86, it's got to be based on the 86 movie. So let's go with, and they already are doing Blaster with Legacy, because I would have probably said something like Blaster. That's a tough one, because they're really nailing it all now. They're doing all the good stuff. And to say Studio Series 86 Unicron when I'm looking at Unicron over there, I don't know. That's a tough one, because I feel like everything's going to happen and it won't have to be a dream. Like sooner or later we'll get like another RC. Sooner or later we're going to get another Springer. Sooner or later we're going to get, you know, I'm trying to think of someone that would be weird. You know, something that like, I'm trying to think of like, what would be a really weird one? Because we got the Junkions, you know, Scourge, Cyclonus we got through Kingdom. Maybe if they revisit Cyclonus again, but I don't really see the point of that. Maybe doing, I don't know, maybe doing proper versions of, you know, proper versions of like Kranix or something. Maybe, like a transforming Kranix, because technically he is supposed to transform. We see that in the Marvel adaptation of the 86 movie. You get to see his transformation. I don't know. That's a tough one. Because, you know, even like the Pit of Judgment gave us a really good kind of Studio Series 86 flavor of characters. That's a really tough one, because I just feel that it's all going to happen. I don't know. Give me... See, I'm just staring at the display here, trying to see something different. Jeez, you're really putting me... Give me a better wheelie. Give me Studio Series 86 wheelie that doesn't suck. How about that? That isn't like squatting with, you know, give me a really good wheelie figure. Like take that what was it called there? I think it was called Metal Force. Was it Metal Force? That third party masterpiece wheelie that was really good. Give me that by I think it was done by Jizai Toys. Make that into a core class or something, or even like a deluxe class, because all the mini bots are becoming deluxes anyways. Give me something like that. Give me a good wheelie figure. And that's kind of funny because everyone hates wheelie, but give me a good wheelie figure maybe. That'd be a way to go. But like you mentioned here, perhaps a re-release of Earthrise Optimus Prime with more accessories. I could see that. I could see them doing like a, you know, like a Death of Optimus Prime kind of thing. You know, Starscream has his throne, So maybe Optimus will come with his bed, with the battle damage and, you know, like the face messed up and an opening matrix and every matrix that glows. Who knows? They could do something like that. When you put it in that price point, there's probably more that you could do. You know, like, again, Earthrise Optimus Prime, which is a leader class. But because it's a death of Optimus Prime, you don't need the trailer. So where do you put that budget then if you don't have the trailer? You have the bed instead. You have the extra accessories. That's the way I see it. That's one way that could be done. But I don't know if the trailer is directly... I don't think the trailer is directly tied to the mold of the toy, because we've had versions of Earthrise Optimus Prime released without the trailer. So that means in the factory it's not on the same mold sprue. So there is a strong chance that we could get Earthrise Optimus Primes without the trailer. So we will see. We will see. Aiden Tolbert with the super chat. Waspinner news rules while Galvatron is inferior. Well, that is comparing apples and oranges. I mean, Waspinator technically is the strongest Transformer of all time, as I like to say, because, I mean, Optimus got hit in the abs and he died, you know. Brawn got hit in the shoulder and he died. Waspinator has been turned into a cube, cut to little pieces, blown up, exploded, you know, everything possible, and he still comes a-kicking. It's almost feel like that's why Starscream hooked up with him in his body, because they both were indestructible in different ways. One had an indestructible spark, and in the case of Waspinator, one had an indestructible body. A will to live. We had Ernie Hudson in TF Prime, says Michael Koo. I don't know, I guess someone was talking about Ghostbusters in Transformers. Good old Ernie Hudson. The man knows how to make his money. Michael Koo says TF Studio Series 86, all versions of Hot Rod that match his 3 different transformations. Oh boy, I hope not. That would mess with everything. You have to have the one there where, like, he transforms and then, like, the arms twist. Like, they twist in midair. The funny thing is, here, I'm going to pull the animation model here from the statue. The crazy thing with Hot Rod is that his original design was that his crotch piece here was actually the top of the car. Because when they first were engineering the toy, here, if you look side by side, see the top of the car here? And see the crotch, how it was done? This was supposed to be the rub sign. So, giggity. But that was the original plan for the transformation, is somehow this top of the vehicle would make this general area. Obviously, ultimately, in the end, the way the toy transformed set the standard for how that was going to be done. But the Fluoro-Diri model, which still to this day, the Metal Force statue is still the best interpretation. Dusty, too. Still the best interpretation of that character in terms of how it looks from the animation model and stuff. Very dusty. That's what happens when you put it on top of your computer behind the fan. He stares at me every day. But, yeah, that'd be crazy if it did all the transformations. Horned Owl says, I'm really looking forward to a Studio Series 86 Astro Train. You know what? And I know they won't do it, but if you want to do a Titan class, do a Studio Series 86 Astro Train, where you could put all your deluxes in the train mode, or alternatively in the shuttle mode when he's flying. That would be so over the top. Studio Series 86 Astro Train, just so you could reenact that one scene. You know, the Decepticons are retreating. Prime did it. He turned the tide. Having little, you know, Rumble holding the the cannon. Who's divorced twice? What am I seeing here? People are having conversations and I have no idea what's going on. Michael Koo says here, to Hasbro, can the next TF HasLab be TF Studio Series 86 Astro Train? It could hold this up. Exactly what I was saying, Michael. Exactly what I was saying. Great minds think alike. And actually, since Michael just reminded me, I want to talk about, I got some stuff in the PO box, and I'll let the super chat questions build up in the meantime. But I got some stuff from the Transformer Slag PO box. Michael Koo sent me some stuff in the mail, and I wanted to find a segue to bring these in. So Michael sent me a bunch of stuff in the mail. It's a lot. I didn't expect this much. He sent, these are interesting because these are the Japanese versions of the Transformer Prime Cyberverse figures, not to be confused with other Cyberverse. So the Legends, Legion, Commander scale, man, this is so confusing. How do I even explain it? So the Legend scale at one point after Dark of the Moon started calling them the Cyberverse, like literally the Cyberverse, and the smaller ones were called Legions, and the larger ones were called Commanders. Imagine how confusing that must be now with Commander class, a show called Cyberverse, and everything like that. But back in the day, that was the case, and Michael sent me a whole bunch of the Japanese versions. RC, Diaclone, Bumblebee, and the horns of Cliffjumper, a.k.a. how do you make the budget for episode 1 go over. So he sent me all of those. He also sent me, and this was hype, the Mario Kart stuff, which was pretty cool. I was really hoping to get that Shy Guy there, the B Dasher, which is based off of a 1950s Formula One car. So pretty hype stuff. He sent me a whole bunch of them. I wish I could show them all on screen. You know, here's everybody. There's a whole bunch of them. And of course, some PVC love, also Transformer PVC action. So, and this is actually going to be kind of a segue too. Like there's all the Act 3 PVCs and everything. Thank you, Michael, for all the cool stuff in the PO box. There will be photography in the near future on Twitter and Insta. Be sure to check that out. A lot of cool stuff. I also got, this was sent from my buddy in Japan. He always gives me my Keshi fix, as I like to call it, little Keshi Gumus. You guys probably saw this on my Twitter and Instagram. He managed to find the Keshi of Shadow Maru, a.k.a. what Six Shot was repainted, retooled into from Brave Police J. Decker. Pretty cool stuff. And I got a whole bunch of other ones. I got some Mega Man ones, a gold Mega Man X there, and some Street Fighter ones. All my video game brands. So there's a nice Bison doing his winning pose. Super Mario. This is when the King in Mario 3 is transformed into whatever it is for that level. Here's an Ultraman one of Gudis with his cape. Ultraman Great Gudis. Whole bunch. Bomberman. This is actually Plasma Bomber, one of the bad guys. And of course, this one's really cool. Piccolo. Piccolo Diamoa. Love it all. I got a whole bunch in here. More Piccolo ones. Whole bunch. Got a whole bunch in here. They sent me a nice little care package from Japan. I like my Keshis. They're really cool. Awesome stuff. Jonathan. Oh, here we go. Last name is pronounced like Catholic priest on. Okay. It's almost like a transformation. Priest on. Priest on. Jonathan Priest on. Jonathan Priest on. Since core class doesn't really concern itself with scale, just giving us mini versions of characters, let's get core class Devastator or Bruticus. Well, you know what? In the past, we had the legend scale Devastator from the movie line from Revenge of the Fallen. That would be cool, though. If Hasbro and Takara were able to dedicate themselves to it, really go, okay, we'll do a core class of, because Devastator would be a lot easier than the other ones, primarily because all the Constructicon members are all the same size in terms of scale, so they would fit together very easily. They're all every version, whether it be the United Warrior, aka Combiner Wars, or the original toy from 1985, they're all the same size in terms of engineering cues and plastic. So you could really pull that off easily because they could all be the same size with the core class. When you're talking let's say Bruticus or any of the Scramble City guys, the problem that you hit with that one is the 4 limbs will be fine, but then when you get to that centerpiece, that one's going to be bigger. And that one not only is going to be bigger, but it's going to probably have to also pack in the combined pieces somehow. I think the only way they'd be able to pull it off is to do a little box set, like core class, 5-piece box set for some of those guys. Only the Constructicons I could see happening. But then the question is, would Hasbro want to invest 5 different units on a collect-em-all Constructicon thing, where if people don't get the 5 different units, there might be a lot of shelf warming. Like, imagine you show up and it has like 4 of the 6. You know, people won't pick it up. And that was something that I remember when they had Energon back in the day, the Energon line. That was a big problem that they had, where they had Bruticus Maximus, Superion Maximus, and Devastator Maximus. I don't know, I think it was called Constructicon Maximus was the name they gave it. But when they did that line, the big problem was people weren't able to complete their members because they separated the releases by waves. You couldn't get all the members in one wave. And then people just didn't bother to complete it. So you had like a lot of leftover, I think one of them was called Jetstorm. Like, they had weird names for them. Just all trademarks and stuff. I think one of them was called Air Razor too. That was a repaint later on. But the point is that there was a lot of leftover limbs, and Energon didn't sell very well with that combiner era of the Power Link era, if you will, as they were called. So it's something that it would be a cool idea. I do agree. It would be a cool idea. I do agree. You know, we look at all the pocket stuff that a lot of third-party guys are doing right now, so that would be pretty hype. But at the same time, I don't see the logistics of it. You know what I mean? Like, just like it would not be able to be in basic wave assortments. It would have to be like box sets, because that would be the only way it could be pulled off properly, in my opinion. You know, I mean, look at even, you know, the way they did Combiner Wars. Like, it was they had to do something that was a line-wide gimmick, where everything was interchangeable and not just stuck within a group of 5 characters. So everyone was a combiner. Everyone had pieces like that. Everyone was centerpieces. You know, like, it was something that they could get away with then, where if they did that today, they'd have to make, okay, all our core classes for the next while are all going to be combiners, and then have that play pattern centralized, much like the Headmaster concept with Titan Returns. Hope that kind of helps a little bit with steering that an idea. Gives people a good idea with how that stuff is done, how those decisions are made. Michael Koo with the $5 super chat. Proto Man, you are welcome. Michael, thank you again for everything, man. That's some pretty hype stuff. Especially, like, look, this guy I would have probably never seen in retail. So this one I'm really excited about. More than anything. More than anything is the Shy Guy. More than anything. You'd be surprised. Roman here. Hey, Proto, any chance we could get better Whirl and Roadbusters down the line? Roman, I don't know, man. Like, I think the Whirl and Roadbuster that we got in Thrilling 30 were absolutely fantastic. I mean, what do you mean by better? Because, I mean, we're not talking something that's, like, show accurate. It wasn't in the show. Obviously, they were in the comics, and they had different interpretations. So if you mean better, maybe you mean like making a Whirl that looks like the IDW one. Is that what you're trying to say? But in terms of taking the old 1985, you know, Dorvac toys and modernizing them, I think they did a fantastic job. And they came with sticker sheets and a bunch of weapons and accessories. 2 fantastic molds that didn't get enough use, amazingly. They didn't get enough use. I have no idea even how they pulled that off in the end. Especially that Roadbuster. That Roadbuster is incredible. Every time I look at them, I'm like, wow, I can't even believe those happened. But that was like the end of the Aaron Archer era. He was going out with a bang, doing all the really good stuff. So I don't know, like, I mean, Roman, what would you consider an improvement? Like, if you don't have those ones, then I know that you don't really have something to compare to, but what would you see as an improvement then? Because, I mean, some of those are absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Let's go to the other super chats. Princeton Phalanx 59. How you doing, Princeton? Welcome back to the party. Hey, Protoman, do you think Hasbro will go into Beast Wars Transmetals in the future? Thanks for the stream. Thank you for joining the stream, Princeton. I think so. Here's the way I see it is, right now we're looking at the Hasbro reissue line with Beast Wars, And we know that we're going to be getting like the Wave 3 kind of stuff. Like Beast Wars, before they went into, because you had 95, 96, 97, which was Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, just before the Transmetals started in late 97, early 98. And we're seeing that Wave 1 was, 95, 96 stuff. The Wave 2 of these reissues are going to be that 96, 97 stuff. Cyber Shark and K9. These are the rumors, of course. And some of the others. So I think that after that wave, I could see Transmetals happening. And if there's one that I would like to see, just for the sake of other people, revisit Rat Trap and give him proper chrome so people don't suffer. Because that original Rat Trap, I don't even want to touch mine. It's about as good as it gets in that condition. That's only because I didn't touch it anymore. It started to flake like crazy. But, that Cheetor is amazing. That Tarantulas is amazing. So that's from the reissue standpoint. From revisiting those characters, I could totally see that happening. When they're going to have to do another deluxe Cheetor toy in the future, whether it be Legacy or otherwise, they're going to do that Cheetor. That's going to be a gimmick all in itself. Look, they're all triple changers. Every single one of those Transmetals are triple changers. That's a selling point. That's a great selling point for Transformer toys, to have the triple changer gimmick. In this case, the Transmetal modes. So people will dig that. And I think it will happen, because Transmetals are awesome. And I hope not only is it going to happen, I hope that they revisit some of those non-show characters or make new ones, in the sense. Do some, Transmetal characters that haven't been done. Transmetal K9, Transmetal... I don't know, I'm trying to think of some of the other, Cyber Shark got a Transmetal 2, which later on became Skybite, but maybe you get a Transmetal Cyber Shark. Get that in between before he went to the last version. That'd be really cool. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen primarily just from a trademark standpoint. Look, we got all those Beast Wars toys done. They're going to have to do another Rhinox again sooner or later. They're going to have to do another Dinobot. Supposedly we're getting Inferno. There's a Scavenger trademark right there for an Inferno Transmetal. It's going to happen. It's, in that case, like I always say, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of just when it's going to happen. And it will happen, for sure. For sure. All those years ago, I remember, I think it was Vangelis's podcast many years ago. And they asked me, will they ever make a modern version of Starsaber? And I said, yeah, it'll happen one day. It'll happen. And well, we got 3 of them. The Masterpiece, the Robot Master, and the what do you call it? The HasLab one. Let's see. But thanks for the question. Thank you. Roman says, yes, IDW. Yeah, well, the problem with the IDW one is that I would agree with you that it would be cool to get the IDW version, but it's so far away from when that stuff got released that unless a designer at Hasbro really likes that IDW version, we might not see it. Like when we got Skids in Generations Thrilling 30, that was right when the IDW stuff was happening. When we got Drift or even Ultra Magnus from what do you call it? From Combiner Wars. That was right in the heat of the IDW stuff. Now that we're kind of divorced from that and separated from it, and there's the new IDW 2019 comic book series, I think they're going to want to lean more on that. Unfortunately, that's what I feel. Unless we get, someone who's in the design team that really likes that old school, world design. I mean, look, we did get Rung. But mind you, Rung was an original character, so I think they just wanted to get that out of their system. And because it kind of crossed over with the cell phone game at the time, too. So, with what Simon Furman was doing. Michael Koo would like an animation-accurate Cyberverse Wild Wheel. Brother, I did a review on that Wild Wheel toy. It was the last review I did on my Proto Retro channel. And I would love anything better than that toy, because that toy is a low quality, terrible figure. That's all I'm going to say. Not good. Not a good figure. I will give it credit for it trying, but I'm just not feeling that figure. It was very low quality, so anything would be an upgrade. And even Wild Wheel, he had a tiny turbo changer that was like purple or something. I remember it had a weird color scheme, and I was like, man, like Wild Wheel got done dirty. And he was a cool brand new like again, fresh new character for Cyberverse, new creation, new IP that could like exist in the pantheon of Transformers moving forward. You know, just like how like when Lockdown came around and then he became a thing, or when Bulkhead came around, he became a thing, or Hotshot when he came around and then became a thing. Like Wild Wheel, I hope, is one of those characters that moving forward we'll see more of him in other iterations of the brand, because it's a cool. I like the idea of like a, you know, a cowboy Transformer mercenary Autobot turned Decepticon, but not really. You know, I like that. Pretty cool. The man with no name, you know, like Blondie from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I dig it. I dig it a lot. Looks really cool. Looks really cool. And hopefully you'll get a good toy. I hope so. I really do. Who's texting me right now? Everyone's texting me during the stream. I almost forgot, too. There was something else in Michael Koo's little package. Giggity. Just making sure nothing falls over here because I had to stack it on top of my books here. Oh, it's going to fall. Oh, well. He also sent me this, and I'm reading this right now, the Super Mario Manga Mania, which unfortunately is not in order. It's more of a best of collection of the Super Mario manga that's been around since 1991 in Japan. And because of that, it uses mostly recent stories. So this was a manga that's been around for a very long time and did stuff from Super Nintendo era moving forward in terms of stories. And even like Game Boy stories and all kinds of stuff, which unfortunately with this one, everything that's in this is more modern. So it's Paper Mario, Mario Sunshine, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, and Mario Galaxy and Mario Wii, new Super Mario Bros. Wii. So it's all the stories from that collected into one, which is still cool. It's the first time it's being done in English, and I appreciate the present. Awesome. But it's such a shame that the way that they tackled it. It's kind of like if they did the Transformer manga, and because there was stuff that people would have been unfamiliar with, like Master Force Victory and Zone, they kind of cut those out and put other stuff instead. But still, this is pretty cool, though. I hope they do something that's more of a volumized in order thing, if it sells well. So, pretty cool, though. Pretty cool. It's out right now by Viz. Not plugging it. I'm just saying it is. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Yeah, I saw the sticker from Mitsuwa or whatever on the back. I was like, did he get this at a Japanese bookstore? Like, I was like, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, it's, you know, there's, getting back to what I was saying before with like what they're going to do with Legacy and everything moving forward. You know, there's just, it's going to be interesting to see what they do fictionally, because there's just such a gap. And Hasbro has acknowledged that gap. You know, they've acknowledged, they said, look, like, we got nothing between now and April. Like, nothing. There's just, that's like the first time ever we've had something like that. Because in the past, like when Transformers Prime was ending, we already knew what the next series was. When Animated was ending, we already knew what the next series was. This is the first time ever we're kind of in like this black hole where we just don't know what's happening. You know, what's going to be the next thing? What's going to be the next product? What's going to be the next, you know, like the next series, the next flavor? I mean, man, having the movie pushed back a whole year, that's like crazy. That's absolutely crazy to have it like pushed back a whole year. The only good news with that is it gives it a better financial opportunity. People will be able to go see it in theaters a lot easier, you know? So, I don't know. That's just my take. I hope, I really, really, really hope we just learn more in the future. Horned Owl, there's Mitsuwa, not too far from me as well. I love shopping there. It is in Arlington Heights. What is that exactly? Is it like a Japanese store or something? Sounds cool. Princeton Phalanx, I'll tell you one thing, Proto. It'll be nice to be in a stream with such a good group of people tonight. Thank you. I hope to one day, what I'd like to do, I've been playing with the idea of it, that when it's going to be a convention weekend, like when it'll be like a TF Con or something, when I'm actually at the show. I don't know if I'll be at the future TF Cons this year, because who knows what's going on right now with that. But it's an Asian market store. Okay, cool. But as I was saying, like if I do go to one of the conventions in the near future, I would like to potentially do like a Saturday night live stream live from the cons and stuff. But I don't really know how I would do it. Really, I don't know, like how I could do it without it being like evasive to people. Cause some people might not want to be on camera. I know some people are like, oh no, I don't want to be on camera. So like it's something like I'm still playing with the idea. It's something that maybe I will do a live stream, but it'll be like really late in the night. Like I'll hang out with people, we'll do the bar thing, we'll hang out at the bar, hang out in the lobby, all that stuff. And then like at 11 o'clock at night, I'll do a live stream and just like catch up with people and show people what happened that weekend or whatever. I don't know. It's something I'll play with that idea when the time comes, but at the same time, don't you just want to just hang out with people at the con? One thing I always found funny was people who go all the way to a Transformer convention, then they stay on their screen the whole time. Some people are messaging me. Michael Koo with the super chat. With Hasbro's TF product gap, how easy is it to fill it with repaints? You know what the problem is with repaints? I literally had this discussion in our Discord today. The problem with repaints is it's not that easy to kind of put them out. Like, yeah, like engineering a figure takes a lot of time, but when you do repaints, unless it's like, you know, boxes like this from you know, Hasbro Pulse, you know, you got to make everything from scratch. You know, you got like, actually, here's the best example. Let's go to this here. So like this Bumblebee, right? Let me give you an example, right? Let's say instead of doing the same figure 4 times, they repainted the character every time. Like it was yellow the first release, red the second one, green the third, and blue the fourth. The first thing they would have to do is they have to change the box art, because now it's a different character. It's not a yellow Bumblebee, so they'll have to change the box art. So they got to hire someone to do the art. Then on the back of the packaging, they're going to have to take new photography of the new toy in the new color. So then that becomes an issue. Then from a product standpoint, you then got to hire a packaging director who has to now put all that together again. And then the final thing is, hey, you got to hire a guy like, you know, back in the day, Hasbro had like, you know, Eric and them who were in charge of gang molding, which is when you do a repaint, you got to figure out where each color goes, because a toy, when it's repainted, has to share the same plastic colors on the same areas at the same time. So all the yellows on that Bumblebee, if it's red, are going to be all red on that one too. So repaints are not as easy as some people think. There actually is a lot of stuff that's involved in putting them together, unless, of course, they just put it together and then, like I said, you know, throw it in a box like this. Then you don't have to worry about box art or anything. You just slap a sticker on it that just says, you know, lazy repaint number 7. Although in this case, it's shattered glass, but either way, it's kind of give you an idea. So to me, I think that, I mean, if they wanted to fill the gap, the easiest thing to do is reissue product. Take old product that was maybe 3 years ago and then just put that out there in the meantime. And as crazy as that sounds, it's like, it's them going, hey, here's a whole bunch of Kingdom stuff that people may have missed. Here's a whole bunch of Earthrise stuff. Here's a whole bunch of Siege stuff. Let's put that out. Look, Hasbro Pulse, when they reissued Combiner Wars Devastator Titan class, they just did like a whole run of them, you know, just to kind of fill the gap during the beginning of the Big V. So I don't know. Let's see. Got to go through all the questions, super chat questions. But yeah, if I did something live from TFCon, it would be, I don't know, it'd be kind of tough to like, because I don't know. I find that when I'm at the shows, I just like to hang out with people. I don't want to turn on a screen. And if I turn on a screen and kind of just have it in the background, it'll just be me talking to people, and then you'd just be like a fly on the wall for the conversations. Not to mention, sometimes it gets a little blue. You know, there's going to be swearing. There's going to be all kinds of craziness, alcohol, booze, you know. And YouTube might go like, whoa, 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 what's going on here? That girl's taking off her shirt. You know, getting a little crazy. Michael Koo to Hasbro, if you reissue stuff, please consider reissuing Earthrise Runabout and Runamuck. And Earthrise Thrust. You know, like they could reissue some of those like more expensive stuff. Here, Roman says reissue Titans Return Misfire. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, they could, and legitimately don't even make new packaging. Like, just literally do a case assortment where it's like 1 Titan Return card back at this and 2. I know it sounds crazy, but it's just, it would probably be the cheapest and easiest way to put out product without having to produce anything. And you don't even need to make new packaging. You don't need to hire a copywriter. You don't need to do new artists or package designers or package layout people or anything like that. That's the super cheap way. The super, super cheap way. I'm never going to get canceled. You can't cancel a person who doesn't care. That's the difference. That's the difference. People always get worried about getting canceled, but the only people that worry about getting canceled are people who are apologetic, people who feel bad. But it's not going to happen. So it doesn't make a difference. People have tried. They've tried, and they don't exist anymore because they got bored, because they realized it was impossible. As I sip my tea. But yeah, how much time we got left? We got 45 left in the stream. Still got plenty of time left. But it would be cool to do a lot of like, you know, take, imagine, I mean, I don't know if the budget would be there, but imagine if they really went back. Imagine if like they just said, you know what, we're going to do the whole first wave of Transformers animated. Repackaged, out there. Wouldn't that be crazy? Like, we're going to take something from like easily, you know, 12 years ago and put it back on the shelves. Like, just do a whole run of it. That would be crazy. Wave 1 of Transformers Prime. Just put it out there. It'd be nuts. It'd be nuts. The only ones that would be difficult, and I know some people were listing them, but I think some of the more like store exclusive ones, like, you know, people are saying like the Bumblebee, right? Like the Walmart Bumblebee. But some of the store exclusive ones, or some of the, you know, the Amazon exclusives, those might be a little more difficult to have reissued, unless, because the thing with the exclusives is those are ordered to Hasbro. Like Amazon goes, we want this. Where if Hasbro, let's say, does a reissue of like Thrust, let's say, that's a store exclusive, and that was a contractual deal with whatever that store was. And the only way that reissue could happen is that store orders it, and they might not want it. So that's where it gets kind of iffy, where at least like reissuing Wave 1 of Animated, reissuing Wave 1 of Transformers Prime, that's something that was a retail thing. So it could be kind of done differently. At least that's one way. But then it's a matter of, how was the budget for Transformer Prime toys back in 2010 with plastics and paint and everything to how it is today? We might get reissues of animated toys, but they're not going to be priced like they were back in the day. We're going to be paying like, you know, deluxes that, especially with how animated toys were painted. Oof, we're talking deluxe toys that'll probably be $40. Whatever you're paying, I guess, for the Beast Wars reissues, you know, kind of in that area. You know, see someone say, like here, Roman, the Stunticons. That was a BotCon exclusive. By the way, the head sculpts were not even done by Hasbro. Those brand new head sculpts with BotCon. Those new head sculpts were done by Boss Fight Studio. So we wouldn't really get what you think. And the problem with the Stunticons is you fall into the problem that I said before. It's easy to reissue Wave 1 of Transformers Animated because the packaging, the art, the language, all of it's ready to go. You reissue the Stunticons, you got to make packaging because it came in a giant box set with foam and everything from BotCon 2011. You know, so it would be a whole other different ballgame. It would be too difficult to do those guys. Way too difficult. Princeton with the member question. Hey, Proto, did you see that the Star Wars HasLab backer numbers have been going down after they did their live stream on Friday? For which one? For the Rancor, I believe, is the new one they did? I believe it was the Rancor is the one. You know what? That doesn't surprise me because I feel that, you know, some of the, like, the thing is that they're putting out too many Star Wars stuff. Like, Star Wars was the one that got the most HasLab stuff, and I think that there's wallet fatigue that's happening from the Star Wars fans where they're going like, whoa, 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 whoa. There's only so much I could buy, and Return of the Jedi is great and all, but do I really need a big, giant monster in my house? You know, so I think that Hasbro needs to slow down. And that's just, you know, look, I hate to say it, but, you know, when Brian Goldner became CEO of Hasbro in 2001, one of his first goals was to step up production, put out more product, and not just Transformers, just everything. Like, oh, Magic the Gathering only has 4 sets a year, let's do 6. Oh, Transformers only has like 20 figures a year, let's do like 40. Oh, hey, Star Wars only has like these 2 lines, let's do 4 lines. Like, everything was like, let's just put it out, people are gonna buy. And I think that the Rancor is probably one of the many last few things before Brian passed away that was probably part of his, I guess, his initiative. And it's just too much. It's too much. The Star, like, look, we as Transformer fans, we had 2 HasLabs. What did they have? They're at number 3 now, I think it is. 4? Is it 4? 3? I mean, they're killing them. Those poor Star Wars fans that already have too much to buy, you know? Now you're like throwing that at them to buy too. I'm pretty sure they would buy it, but it's something that they would buy it if they had more time. If it was done like maybe 3 months from now, people have paychecks that they could have come in and buy it. It'd be cool. But that's just my take. You can't milk the fans too much like that, especially when you have a timeline with these HasLab stuff. It's one thing to milk the fans, but it's retail product and it'll be there for much longer. But if there's like a 30 to 60 day window, it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them. Michael Koo just read Star Trek versus Transformers. Is doing Maximus Tiberius transforming toy possibility to do? I think so. I think Hasbro is going to have to move on to whatever is going to be the next crossover toy. And combined with the fact that it's going to be the next crossover toy and Hasbro has the Star Wars Master Toy license, it's a possibility. Although next year is the anniversary of Knight Rider. 40 years of Knight Rider. So I think something else is going to be happening next year. If you know what I mean. That's all I'm going to say. Jonathan Prieston wants to know, in your professional opinion, when do you think will we see HasLab Star Saber starting to ship? Didn't they give a date? I could have swore they gave us a date. They said, anyone know? I think they said like summer of 2022. No, like it's a lot quicker than Unicron. They gave us a date. I'm 100% sure they gave us something. I remember they said something. I know I'm getting a sample sent in the mail, so mine's going to be slightly early and not the final product. So that's a different story. But I think they said, I want to say it was May. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I know they told us a date though. I think it's crappy tier. I think it's the crappy tiers for the Rancor. You know what the problem I have with the HasLab stuff is they shouldn't have to do the tier thing, because it's almost going like this is the product and we want you to get invested and excited about the product, but there's actually some stuff behind a curtain that really justifies why you should be excited about this. how it should be is the core product should be exciting, and anything that comes afterwards is just a lucky coincidence, you know? Because, I mean, that was the problem with Star Sabers. People were like, maybe the extra tiers will save the figure. That was not the case, unfortunately, unless you liked some Micromasters and a stand and a shield and a gun. The tiers, I don't know what the tiers were on it, but I mean, what is it? Like a Luke Skywalker with bone to put in his mouth? What was the extra tier accessories? Let's see. Princeton says here, the problem was that the stretch goals, people were not happy about them for the cost. Gee, where were those people when Star Saber was happening? You know? Downright Superb celebrating his 3 months as a YouTube member with the Transformer Slag podcast. Downright has a question. Do you think Rise of the Beasts will be a success? When that movie comes out, will figures automatically come out in studio series, or is Hasbro oversaturating the TF market? I'd only say if Hasbro is saturating the TF market if we were having tons of shelves plugged with product. But I've yet to see like walls of filled product like crazy. Transformers are selling ridiculously well. It's actually the Marvel stuff and the Star Wars stuff that's kind of lingering around more than anything. But I do think Rise of the Beast will do well. I think it is kind of smart on a professional standpoint that Hasbro is going to wait to release the movie. If they release it in 2022, the summer coming up, if the big V is still around, that might hurt ticket sales. Some people might, you know, even if they're vaccinated, they might not want to go to a movie theater. There is social distancing. There is space rules. They want packed theaters. They want everyone to see it. They don't want to go, oh my God, we have to put this on a streaming service and we're going to be losing so much money putting it on a streaming service. Because all it takes is like one guy to get it, and then he invites his 20 friends over to his big screen TV, and that's, I mean, I don't know what your movie ticket prices is from city to city, but $10 to $15 each in sales, absolutely gone. So I think it will be successful. I think by doing it in 2023 will lead to it being successful. I think also it gives them an opportunity to really plan their toy releases properly and their marketing, because now they don't feel rushed. Oh my God, we got to meet a specific release date. Now they have an extra year to plan marketing, when the toys are going to drop, what you know, case assortments, talk to the distributors if they want to do like a store exclusive for Rise of the Beasts, like here's Cheetor's, you know, deluxe class, but do you want like a Beast Wars colored Cheetor, you know, from Rise of the Beasts, you know, using the Rise of the Beast mold, like do something that's like based on the cartoon. They could plan out all that stuff because now they have an extra year, 12 months. That's a lot, man. That is a lot of time to plan extra stuff. So there is going to be, I think it's going to do fine. I really do. I know some people think, oh, it's because it's Beast Wars, it won't do well, which, sure, that's your opinion. But I think it's going to do just fine. Let's put it this way. No Transformer movie, with the exception of the 86 movie, has done financially bad. Bumblebee was the least successful of the bunch, but it still did well. So we'll see, but I think it'll be success. I really do. Transformers is, dare I say, too big to fail right now. It's not in a saturated point right now. People are hungry still. They really are, and Hasbro is taking advantage of that hunger. They really are. Princeton says the shipping for Star Saber will be winter 2022. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Perfecto. So December of 2022, everyone gets an early Christmas present. Stinkfist69. What's up, Stinkfist? Hi, everyone. Coming in late. Had a child's birthday to go to. Awesome. Those are always fun to go to. Just hopefully all the kids weren't looking at computer screens and computer screens, iPad screens. Hope they were all having a good time, actually hanging out. But yeah, like it's, I mean, when it goes back to Rise of the Beast, I mean, from what I saw, it's a bigger movie than what the Bumblebee movie was. The Bumblebee movie was, at the end of the day, you know, yeah, it had this awesome opening scene and had that little scene here and there, But at the end of the day, it was a movie about 3 Transformer characters. And a lot of people weren't excited about something like that. The marketing for the movie didn't let us know that those scenes... Now, granted, I'm pretty sure the reason why I did that is they didn't want to do a bait and switch, show those Cybertronian scenes and make us think the whole movie is that, and then only give us it for 1 minute, like they did with the Dinobots in Age of Extinction. But the marketing of the movie made a lot of people think, oh, it's going to be just Bumblebee and a girl, and maybe 1 or 2 Decepticons, and that's it. So because of that, a lot of people weren't excited to see it. And I'm not talking about like hardcore fans like us. I'm talking about the general public. They looked at that and they're like, I don't know. They weren't feeling it. And it's something that it's not about getting us excited, because we're going to show up no matter what. Everyone in this stream today is, if given the opportunity, is going to see that movie. They're going to see it. It's about convincing the people that are not Transformer hardcore fans. How do you get them to go see it? In the same way Marvel is able to convince people who are not hardcore Marvel fans to show up to see their movies, even if they don't know who those characters are and or care. They don't want to have that FOMO and fear that they missed out on something. Michael Koo says marketing of most movies aren't done well. For example, Disney, I think, completely screwed the promotion for Shang-Chi. You know what? I don't want to go too deep into it, but Shang-Chi also came out during this craziness. I think it's hard. It's really hard to judge. Like, look, I know a lot of people are ragging on the Eternals and stuff, but I think it's really hard to judge a lot of these movies as success based in the world we're in right now. It's just, we're in bizarro world. We're in crazy world right now. So it's something that I feel that, and who knows, I haven't seen Shang-Chi. Maybe it's a crap movie. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I think that those movies would have been more successful and promoted differently if we were in a normal world where we don't have to worry about people not sitting, filling up a movie theater and sitting next to each other, and worrying about all the other craziness wrapped around that in the world we live in, and all the different environments and all the different social, political craziness from country to country to country that are all going to have these movies. Like, don't just think America or Canada and that's it. There's all the other European countries, African countries, Australia, South America, everyone with their own problems, their own issues, and all the ticket sales that are not happening because of them. We're all one giant entity for when it comes to the true success of these movies. I think Hasbro is underestimating the nostalgia hype that Peter Cullen brought to the 2007 movie. Well, the fact that they did it shows that there was at least a groundswell. They aren't getting Gary Chalk. Fans also nostalgic for him from the Unicron trilogy. But you know what the difference is? Is fans fought for Peter Cullen. There was a huge push for it. I love Gary Chalk. I think Gary Chalk is absolutely fantastic, one of the greatest voice actors of all time. But people weren't pushing for him. People weren't pushing. If we had like thousands of fans pushing for him and bugging Paramount, it might have happened. And not, Ron Perlman, who, no offense to Ron Perlman, I rather have Gary Chalk. And Gary's been in Hollywood movies. Gary's not unfamiliar to the Hollywood scene. He's been in quite a few Hollywood movies. So it's something that it's real. I don't want to say it's the fault of the fans, but no one pushed for it. People were saying it on Twitter. Yeah, wouldn't it be cool? But no one really made an initiative and said, hey, we need Gary for Primal. Because when it was time to do the 2007 Michael Bay movie, there was a huge push from the fans for Peter Cullen. So let that be a lesson for next time. Our voice matters. Look at the Sonic movie. I think they saved that movie by complaining. Cost them money, but they saved that movie visually. Downright superb. Look at the nostalgia hype for the new Spider-Man movie. Well, that's Disney though. That's Disney. That's their direction that they want to go with recognizing that there's people that were kids when those movies came out, especially Spider-Man 2 with Dr. Otto Octavius and Dr. Octopus. And they were kids when those movies came out. Now they're 25 years old today. They're the buying power. They were a kid when that movie came out, and now when this movie comes out, when they're going to put out a Spider-Man 2 action figure and Marvel Legends of that Dr. Octopus, they're going to buy it because they grew up on that, and they probably bought the original figure back in the day when it was probably Toy Biz, I want to say, that was probably doing those toys. So that's that market demo. Market demos are everything when it comes to success for these businesses. They have to look at what works with the buying power. And the truth is, someone like me, who's, as much as this pretty face looks, is going to turn 40 soon, I'm not the buying power anymore. A guy like me is mortgages and debt and da-da-da, even though I don't have any of that. I'm very good with my money. But the average 40-something has mortgages, family, debt. They don't have disposable income to blow on expensive stuff and little frivolous items. So they're going to focus on that 25 to 35, and those are the kids of the late 90s, early 2000s. Those are them, yo. Princeton, looking forward to seeing the new Ghostbuster movie. That I want to see more than anything. I want to see that one. I am very excited about that Ghostbuster movie. They were very smart in how they put it together this time around as opposed to the 2016 one. So I'm really curious to see that movie. That I probably want to see more than anything right now, including the Marvel movies that are out right now. It looks hype. I hope it does well. I hope Ghostbusters does well, and I hope that it does something. Perez is here. Josh Perez is here. Where's Josh? Josh is here. Could you imagine how much fun it would be? Here's Josh Perez says, could you imagine how much fun it would be having Peter Cullen Prime and Gary Chalk Primal interact? The closest we ever got to that, ever, was Cartoon Network when they were doing Toonami for Transformers Armada. They had Peter Cullen doing the hype trailer for Transformers Armada, and it was surreal because you had like Peter Cullen going like, the new Transformers series, Transformers Armada, and you'd hear Optimus Primal in the background, transform super mode, and it was just like, that's probably the closest they ever got in the same Transformer time ever together, was something like that. But yeah, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. That would be the connection of two worlds. It would work for that demo of kids that grew up on Beast Wars and Beast Machines. Beast Machines being a 2000 series, so it's still in that target demo of the 25 to 35s. Gary was in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's true. Yeah, I forgot about that. He was the police officer, which he always is. And he was in Godzilla. He was a military dude in that. Gary is in these movies, man. Gary is in these movies. Like, look, maybe it's not too late. Maybe it's not too late. Look, voice acting and soundtrack is the last thing that's added to a movie. But the only problem I have is they already announced Ron Perlman. So I think it would be too late for them to like kick him out and stuff. But maybe it's not too late. Maybe if people try. I don't know. Maybe Ron is already contractually locked in, so it can't happen. But it is something to think about. Maybe there is a chance. Gary is a very talented dude and a very smart man, might I add. Just being friends with him on Facebook is very politically driven, to say the least. Don't get involved in that stuff. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Gary was, Gary is an awesome dude. He's super talented. He's a musician too. He's a singer. Very cool dude. Very talented stuff. And you know what's funny? One of his first voice acting jobs was Transformers, but it wasn't Beast Wars. All the early commercials of Generation 2, most of them, Gary Chalk did the voice for them. So if you actually look at some of the old G2 commercials, specifically the Rotor Force is one of them, but there's also like commercials for the cartoon. Like you'll have Gary Chalk, check out the Cybernetic Space Cube, the Transformers Generation 2, and like commercials for syndication of G2 cartoons. Like Gary's a awesome dude. Anyone that's been to TFCon and been to the bar where Gary's playing the guitar, you can probably find video of it on YouTube. He's an awesome dude. Awesome dude. We have 20 minutes left. Wow. I did not realize we flew through 2 hours today like nothing. Man. Michael Koo with the member question to Hasbro. Can we get Gary Chalk as the voice as one of the other Transformers in Rise of the Beast? Well, it's kind of like how we got Frank Welker as other characters instead of Megatron in the first movie and in the second one. You would want to have Gary as the only way it would be good is if they need someone to do the voices of the apes that are scanned to make Optimus Primal's alt mode. And then Gary voiced one of those apes, just to do the sound effects, just so he at least did a gorilla. I mean, Gary did a voice of a gorilla and gorilla sounds for years, so I think he could pull it off. I hope that didn't spoil too much from the Peru recordings of Rise of the Beasts, but yeah. But yeah, look, if I had it my way, and this is just me, I mean, it would be the whole Beast Wars cast for all of those guys. But you know how Hollywood is. They're going to want to have B-list, C-list actor doing voiceovers, Air Razor played by Nicki Minaj, it's like, who knows what they're going to do. They're going to do something silly like that. Ultra Primal. Gary Chalk is Nightbird. Oh my God. I don't know if I hate that or love that. I think I hate that. That would be terrible. Nightbird is an awesome R32, man. Skyline. That's the ultimate Japanese street racing car. What a great choice for Nightbird, though, to use a Skyline. Man, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. If Gary not getting in, then maybe we could still do a push for like Cheetor's voice actor or Air Razor's voice actor. Obviously, Ian Corlett and what was her name for Air Razor? She also voiced Frieza. She's really old now. I don't even know if she could probably still do the gig. Oh my God, I forget her name. Where's Christina? She would be able to answer that for me. But and I mean, how could you have Scott McNeil not be in a Beast Wars movie? How do you not have Scott McNeil, who voiced like so many characters? Michael Koo with the super chat. Has there ever been a director's cut of a TF movie where the voice actors were replaced? No. Supposedly, according to Nelson Shin, some of Orson Welles' lines were edited from the final version of the movie. Supposedly, and this has never been confirmed, it's all rumors, supposedly the original theatrical run of the 86 movie, and until someone finds like reels of this, like probably, buried in some kind of warehouse, until we have some reels of it, the original theatrical release of the movie actually had a different audio mix of Orson Welles' Unicron, and supposedly it was changed very early on afterwards. But I mean, it's all just rumors. It's the same thing with Pauline Newstone. Thank you, T-Formers 2002. Supposedly Unicron, Orson Welles recorded voices for the voice chip for the 1986 Unicron toy that never got released. He recorded 5 or 6 voices for it, and those were also unedited. They were just like his voice in, to quote Nelson Shin, his last dying days. So there's a lot of weird rumors about the original 86 movie. The only cut scene that we ever had that was like a director's cut, if you will, was that little extra 2 seconds after Optimus Prime's death when Astro Train flies away, and then they do a pan shot to the side of I guess like the side of Autobot City, and all the Autobots gather around the dead Optimus body, and it was like, it's like 2 seconds, but that was like the only cut scene really that was shown, and that was first in the 20th anniversary release, and it's been added every time since then. But we never had anything like that. Even the I don't know if they ever released, there was the IMAX version of the Michael Bay 2007 movie, and the IMAX version had a bunch of cut scenes from the movie that were removed for pace, but for the IMAX version they were added back in as a bonus feature. And when you watch the IMAX version, I went to see it because I was curious what those extra scenes were. I thought they were robot scenes. I was wrong. They were just removed because they ruined the pace of the movie. Like, there was a scene where, like, when the police officer asks Sam, you know, if he's doing drugs and stuff, and then they show him like a VHS of that commercial there. This is your brain on drugs, with the egg and the frying pan, which is like an old classic commercial from the 90s. And that was just like put in the movie, and it was removed because it kind of ruins, I guess, the pacing of the joke and the writing. It was a mess. It was a mess, that director's cut. And I don't think it ever got released unless there was like some kind of special Blu-ray edition that I missed or something. Downright Superb says maybe Gary Chalk can step in later, like how Frank Welker replaced Hugo Weaving eventually. Well, Hugo left because Hugo was an idiot. That's all I'm going to say. Hugo Weaving is a big diva when it comes to movies. That's why he didn't return for Red Skull. He's one of those guys that, for some reason, is happy to get the check when he does these big franchises. But then his artistic integrity gets in the way of everything else for some weird reason. Let's see. We'll go up to some more super chats with the super chats. But I'm just trying to think if there was any others, because Revenge of the Fallen just had no deleted stuff. Michael Bay, the one thing that I'll give him credit for, and that's why a lot of movie companies didn't like him, but Michael, and it's kind of a detriment to his style too, is Michael Bay believes in keeping almost everything he records. He feels, if I recorded it, why would I not use it? Because he was not a big fan of, a lot of times when directors are filming movies, this is when DVDs were really important, like when they were really hot. A lot of DVD companies that were part of the studios would say, hey, record these scenes and these will be exclusive stuff for the DVD and the home release. That way it'll be a selling point. 15 minutes of unused content, blah, blah, blah. And Michael Bay was against that. He's like, whatever I record is meant for the movie. To the detriment of him is he also doesn't believe in pace and timing, and that's why a lot of his Transformer movies are over 2.5 hours, and sometimes they feel kind of disjointed. So I give him credit for fighting against, recording stuff that shouldn't be recorded, but I also feel that he probably should get rid of some stuff too that shouldn't even be in the movie at all for the pace of it. Princeton says that voice actor David Kaye will be at TFCon LA 2022. I was talking about this in the Discord. David Kaye, easily, without a doubt, has been to more TFCons than any other voice actor guest we have ever had. He was at the very first TFCon that had a voice actor guest. He was the very first guest. And if I had to count it up, I'd have to say that David Kaye has been to 7 TFCons, maybe more. And he's a fantastic dude. I had dinner with him. Me, Jaws D, Ultra Primal, I believe, was there too. It was me, David Kaye, Ultra Primal, Jaws D, and David Wise, rest in peace. We were all having a really good, some kind of marinated steak cutlets and broccoli and a terrible dessert that made me sick afterwards. But yeah, David Kaye, for sure, he's going to be at, the last TFCon LA, he was there too. TFCon LA was was 20 different G1 voice actors and David K. It was 20 G1 voice actors, David K. and Norin whatever, the guy who's the voice of Knockout. Like, it was such a weird weekend. It was like those two were like the non-G1 guys, but David K. is David K. He could rock it with the best of them, you know? He could rock it with the best of them, man. Dude is awesome. I love David K. He's the best. He was probably one of the very first voice actors I ever met to get an autograph. And that would have to be 2001, I want to say, or 2002. I want to say 2002. And it was at Anime North. He had just come off of doing Transformers Armada, and he had these really cool lithographs of Armada Megatron that he was signing. And it was all free back in the day when voice acting autograph sessions were free. He was really cool. He was really cool. Really, really cool. And I remember, like, I was like the only one in line for Megatron. And I was there for Beast Wars Megatron. Everyone else was in line because at that time he had just recorded a character from Inuyasha, the anime. I think it was Shoshomaru. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Shoshomaru. I watched it in Japanese, so I don't remember. I didn't see the dub version, but I want to say Shoshomaru was David K. Someone correct me if I'm wrong that watched the dub of Inuyasha. You were at that Anime North too, Ninjatron. I loved that Anime North. It had there was a huge Inuyasha contingency over there. There was a lot of Inuyasha cosplay that year. Who else was there that was guests there? I'm trying to remember who else. There wasn't a lot of guests that year. I remember David K. was the big one for me. What's your favorite Megatron figure? Are you talking all Megatrons? I would have to go with... favorite movie Megatron figure is easily the Dark of the Moon one. Both the original Dark of the Moon one with the cloak and then the Studio Series one. Favorite G1 Megatron would have to be... I don't want to have to say the Masterpiece 2.0 because that's an easy answer. Let's go with the G2 Megatron, just because it's classic, because it has a talking Megatron. Beast Wars Megatron, easily the Transmetal one, and get the Japanese version so it doesn't break. From Brown Plastic Syndrome. That's a new one that needs a new toy. And for Unicron Trilogy, best Megatron, I'll have to go with the Energon version. The smaller version, not the larger one, the smaller one. I'll go with that. There's all the Megatrons. My favorite Megatrons. I know I'm forgetting a Megatron. Obviously, you could go into like animated and some of the others, but I'll just go with those ones that have the big continuities. Michael Koo says, I would like to know this too. Why is Kingdom Eject done in translucent plastic? The belief that people were saying is because the gimmick with Legacy is there's all these Energon weapons and stuff. So since Legacy, like you look at like Legacy Bulkhead, he has the Energon weapons. All the other characters, they have Energon weapons. What is Blaster going to have that's an Energon weapon or accessory? His tape cassettes. Which then leads to later on, they could do proper colors and then sell you the toy again. So that's the belief, is that it's the whole Energon weapon, Energon infused gimmick. So that's why the clear plastic. It's not really because of Kingdom. It's because of how that figure is supposed to be in Legacy. And that figure being in Kingdom is more because of them trying to buy time until Legacy in April of 2022. Horned Owl, now a 5-month member. 5-month member of the Transformer Slag podcast. Hoping for some Blaster tapes next year with Legacy. Oh man, look. We saw what happened with the tape cassettes with the Generation Selects. They did packs. They're going to do something. For sure. The second you have a tape cassette bot, you're building armies. It's like a Seeker mold. Second you see a brand new Seeker mold, hold on to your anus. It's coming. You know? Richard Cox was there. That's why there was such a... Because Richard Cox was Inuyasha, correct? So that's why there was so much Inuyasha stuff. Okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. I haven't seen that show in a billion years, like 20 years since I've seen that show. Good Lord. I'm a huge like Rama 1/2 fan, so the same creators. Yeah, well the thing with Blaster, also the clear plastic is of the tape door, like Ninjatron said. That I said that in my individual segment, but I think it's also connected to the play pattern. That's what they're trying to go with. Good old play pattern. JR Mina is in the house. Hi everyone. Late and is joining in. What's up, JR? Well, you got 6 minutes, JR, until we're done, so if you have any questions, just lay them on us. Proto, since you are a big car buff, what is your holy grail of cars? Holy grail of car would probably be a minty clean, brand new, very well taken care of 1986 Toyota Corolla Turino with a 4AG engine that has been tuned very well with naturally aspirating, no turbo. Probably just bigger bores, maybe an AE101 engine from touring. I don't know. But it would be like a vintage car that'd be very difficult to get. Because I love Subaru Impreza, but they're not hard cars to get. Money gets you a Subaru Impreza. Money gets you a good Subaru Impreza. But money doesn't get you a good, perfect AE86 Corolla. So, another one would be like an old Datsun Z. Maybe a 300 ZX done in blue. Electric blue, the T-top. That'd be pretty cool, too. Old cars. Old cars. What is your favorite Bumblebee figure? Favorite Bumblebee figure. Favorite Bumblebee figure. I really, really like, what do you call it? Like animated Bumblebee stuff. But I wouldn't say that's the best Bumblebee figure. What's a really good Bumblebee figure? The Masterpiece ones are pretty good. I didn't get that Origins one yet. I want to say that Origins one looks really cool though. That's definitely got to be one of them. Movie Bumblebees. What's the best movie Bumblebee figure? That Leader Class one. Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. I do not know. Plush Bumblebee from Symbiote Studios. You know what's really good, actually? The Robots in Disguise 2015 Bumblebee that comes with the sword, the deluxe class. I like that one. That was I always thought that was going to be like a hot rod mold at some point. Never happened. You know what's a good Bumblebee? Shattered Glass Goldbug. That's a good Bumblebee. Let's see. Man, we got 4 minutes left. 4 minutes left. JR Mina with the super chat in the clutch. How you doing, JR? Wasn't able to join last week since I was away on a trip. Hey, man, trips are awesome. I wish I could go on a trip. Thanks for the mention last week, Proto. So if I may ask, what's for dinner? What am I having? So I had stir-fry chicken with broccoli and rice for lunch. I have no idea what I'm going to have for dinner tonight, though. I don't know. I bought a whole bunch of frozen squid balls. Like what are they called there? Ninjatron probably knows what I'm talking about. But the frozen Japanese squid balls, and you can kind of just like put sauce on them and put them in the microwave. I'm going to probably have those because now you're making me think about them, and they sound really good right about now. They're very easy to make. You just throw them in the microwave. So when you have like a 10 o'clock p.m. at night on a Saturday cravings, some deliciousness. Yeah, Josh Perez, what is your favorite Goldbug figure? Because my opinion of the best Goldbug figure doesn't matter. But, it's like asking me what's my favorite Hot Rod figure. I'll say currently right now, Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. Before that, it was probably Henkei Hot Rodimus from the Henkei line, the Japanese one. Tokoyaki, thank you. Takoyaki. It's true. Taco is squid and is octopus in Japanese. Takoyaki. Shame on me. I should have known that. Let's see. But yeah, Josh, what's your favorite Bumblebee? That's the most important one. Good old squid balls. Oh, even Goober's here too. Goober is here. Geez, so many people today. Favorite gold bug? Not your favorite. No, favorite Bumblebee. Oh God, I'm tired. We're at the last 2 minutes of the podcast of the stream. So, your favorite Bumblebee figure? What is the best Bumblebee figure according to Joshua Perez, the #1 Bumblebee fan in the world, who has the hive? That'd be good. That'd be good to get yours before we go out. Before Josh answers his question, we'll just do a quick shout out to Symbiote Studios and their stuff, symbiotestudios.com. Check out all their crazy stuff that they're doing. And of course, next week at San Diego Comic-Con, be sure to check out Symbiote Studios and their Unicron plush for the 35th anniversary of the Transformer movie, the giant Unicron plush. Big old plush. Hug that plush. Lumbar support. Fix your back sitting in front of the TV screen. Have Unicron fixing that back. Unicron plush. Hovering around your planet. Unicron plush. Hugging your girlfriend at the movie theater because the ears are huge. Unicron plush. Hopefully I'll have mine next week. Roman says he loves the Netflix Bumblebee. And Josh Perez says, but Shatterglass Bumblebee is gorgeous. Nostalgia says, Pretender Bumblebee. Visually favorite is animated Hydrodive Bumblebee. I love that Bumblebee. That is an amazing mold. I wanted to use that for BotCon 2017 if it would have happened. Use that as Cliff Jumper. But the new Netflix Bumblebee is solid. So there you go. So Josh says Pretender Bumblebee, original Pretender Bumblebee, animated Hydrodive Bumblebee, which is the Japanese one with the gold color scheme, and the Netflix Bee. And then he says Shatterglass Bee, or excuse me, Shatterglass Gold Bug, because Shatterglass Gold Bug is awesome. And I think that's it for tonight, guys. I think that's it for tonight. Wow, we had a star-studded cast of people in the chat today. We peaked at about 170 people. Pretty awesome stuff. Anyways, guys, again, thank you all for coming to the craziness of the Transformer Slag podcast live stream main event. I am tired. Thanks, everyone who comes by. If you want to support the podcast, again, we have a Patreon down there. We have the YouTube membership. If you don't like Patreon, always helps with everything, keeping this the daily podcast in the world, keeping you informed, and everything like that. Thanks, everyone who did the super chats. Thanks, everyone who supports all the craziness we do. It's going to be a nutty next couple of weeks with all the convention news and everything, so hopefully we'll try to keep you guys informed. Thanks again to the sponsors, Hasbro and Symbiote Studios, and of course, be sure to check out the latest episode of Transformers Cyberverse that is now on YouTube. Give Hasbro that YouTube analytic money. That's why they're sponsoring. So be sure to check that out. And thanks everyone who came. And as always, like I say, roll out.